laugh too hard.
Okay, then. Is there anything else you want to say about it, Conay?
Not much really, but I would also hope for 2 extra judges to kind of judge it. I'm not sure how I'm going to work it though when it comes to doing audio. If we're going to do it on Skype or, you know, they record their voice on a microphone and they just send it in as a sound file or something.
It'd be interesting if you could do it. I don't know how they do it on the X Factor, but I know how they do what they do on American Idol is they first have you send a video of yourself singing a song in order to actually try out, and then the rest of it, as far as the actual competition goes.
I know how, like, with the audition sections especially, you know, the X Factor, American Idol, because you're having the X Factor next year. Yeah, so, I don't really think we should have, video sent in because obviously some people obviously won't trust privacy issues and...
Oh, no, certainly not video, but I was just thinking maybe for the audition they could send in the audio file and then the rest of it could be on maybe Skype like they do the actual show as far as the performances. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think that's probably what we could do. We could have like a major convo for everyone that wants to, and just have people that obviously aren't participating on no sound thing, you know, like microphone off or whatever. Basically, just have one person singing or something like that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for being with us, Conay.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot, Conay. Thanks a lot, UK. We were glad to have you both here.
Yes, thank you for being with us. Now, Ahura is going to tell us a little bit about this petition. Why don't you get started with that, Ahura?
Alright, the whole point of this petition is to create a seasonal exhibit in the, to have the seasonal exhibit in the Cleveland Museum of Natural History be the permanent exhibit. Because any other time there's a small video presentation, it's maybe about 4 minutes long, and if you are not very familiar with the story of Balto, you wouldn't be able to extrapolate a lot of details out of this video presentation. The second petition wanted to do is, when I visited Balto back in August of this year, I found that Balto's mount was in a very remote corner of the Cleveland Museum, and you virtually had to look for him, which was the rather sad thing about it. You know, they had all sorts of really cool stuff there. They had, like, displays on, like, the planets and the solar system and the Earth and whatnot, and fossils. But I just went there to see Balto, because that's, like, you know, the biggest thing there for them.
Yeah.
And I found Balto in a very, very remote corner of the museum. Now, according to the museum staff, he's supposed to be in a low-light environment, but I found this to be, you know, contrary to where he actually is. He's in a not in a very good spot to try to place him in a low-light environment. There's a very large window that overlooks a live animal display outside, and the combination of the natural sunlight and also this large glass display case with electric light in it. Combination of these two things are beaming directly right onto Balto, really helping him being preserved for future generations. So the second point of my petition is asking the museum to have their seasonal exhibit, which usually coincides with the Iditarod. It's a great exhibit from what I've seen. They have artifacts pertaining to the Serum Run, and it really does the story of Balto justice, as far as giving a fairly true account of what happened and how he became famous, and the significance of why he's a hero. But any other time, you'll just see this small video presentation, as I said before. It really doesn't do him or the story any justice. So the combination of those two things really upset me. So I created my petition in order to hopefully force the museum to do something, to take action, to show that, this is not an appropriate way to honor this hero. By leaving him in a remote corner of the museum, virtually neglected because of these intense sources of light. He shouldn't be, in the place he's in. It's not helping. And also that the exhibit they have, you can't really see much. I mean, when I was there were just people walking by Balto and just giving him one look and sort of like, well, what's this dog? What's so significant about this dog? Because of this video presentation, it wasn't a terribly interesting display. If you didn't know who Balto was. But, as I knew who he was and other people who visited knew who he was, I was able to know that he's a hero, but if you don't know who Balto is, then this little video presentation is not going to cut it.
That's
So,
terrible.
My petition is asking the museum to have their seasonal display become their permanent one. Because then it won't take up too much space. It's not like I'm asking the museum to build an entire wing dedicated to Balto or anything. Because of this, they need to have something that is a bit better than what is there now.
Can I just ask, have you spoken to the museum and asked them, like, how many signatures they would want before they would take action?
No, I haven't spoken to anybody at the museum as of right now. I'm kind of hoping that once the petition is fully signed, or at least I get enough signatures, I'm going to submit it to them. I'm sure I'm not the first person who's complained about this, and I'm probably not going to be the last.
Yeah, but I have to look at it from, if you look at it from the sense of the museum, if there aren't enough people that are really that interested in Balto and in general, it's not like if there was a World War II exhibit there, people are quite interested in things like that. Although obviously Balto is, but not that many people are interested. So from the museum's point of view, what's the point in taking up quite a bit of room?
Well, actually, the way I think about it is the purpose of a museum, I think, is to get people interested in things. So,
yeah, that's in my view. I think it's a good idea, but I'm just basically saying that that's probably the view that Cleveland take. What's the point? Which is a bit of a lazy point of view. Oh my god, bit of a lazy thing.
Well, the thing that is the problem is that the museum, this is essentially their, the one exhibit they have that everybody knows worldwide. And also the fact that they're making quite a lot of commercial revenue off of Balto. They have books, plushes, posters, and all sorts of things like that. You figure with the money they're making off of him that they would do something a bit better, but as of right now, it doesn't appear that they're doing anything.
Yeah, I see now. So if they're making money selling all the Balto merchandise, why would they not have the one thing that is getting people to buy all this stuff, in a more prominent location?
Yeah, because I've seen that they've moved his mount. I believe he used to be in the front lobby as soon as you came in. But they moved him now to, as I said before, a very, very remote location. I mean, you sort of have to go to the entire museum.
Isn't it where all the other animals, in the natural history or something?
The museum, or because where he is, as I said, is in remote. The other animals are in the far corner of the museum, because you sort of have to walk through it. It goes through the natural processes of the Earth and the solar system, and then you eventually get to life here on Earth. And he's sort of in this little area where that overlooks a animal exhibit outside, and also directly in front of him to the left, there's sort of a timeline of the Earth that sort of gives the geological history of the Earth, going back 4 billion years up to now.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like the appropriate place.
No, it doesn't.
I think what they should do, they should at least, put it in a special area. All the Iditarod stuff should be in a special area. And they should have, a no photography thing if they're worried about fighting. No flash photography.
the thing is, it doesn't even look like they're worried about the lighting, and that's what I'm most bothered by, is the fact that they haven't really done anything to actually preserve his mount. I mean, from what it sounds like, there's natural light on him, and there's these harsh fluorescent lights on him. That's no way to take care of a mount, much less that's not how you would treat a piece of art.
Well, when I asked the receptionist, she told me that he was in a low light environment, but I went in there and he's not. I mean, I came around the corner and the combination of this natural light and the fluorescent lighting in the display case is very, very intense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's no way you would treat a mount, much less a piece of art. You wouldn't see one of Picasso's paintings in such conditions. That's terrible. And you gotta think, a painting and a mount are essentially the same in the fact that they're both irreplaceable if they're originals. You can't fix something that used to be alive. I mean, you gotta think about, Togo's mount was mistreated. It's irreplaceable.
What happened to Togo's mount? I have no idea where it is or what.
I can tell you what happened to it because I lived right near where he used to be and where the damage was incurred. He used to be at the Shelburne Museum in Shelburne, Vermont. Apparently, as the story goes, people were allowed to touch him, and pet the mount, and unfortunately the oil from people's fingers would pull out the hair from the mount. He's a dead dog, and you're not supposed to do this. And that's why it's so scrawny looking. If you see pictures of him, it looks like he's almost skeletal because his hair is falling apart, and according to Jersey, they did a pretty bad job trying to repair the damage.
That's horrible.
You just can't fix things
and actually, it's like people didn't know, or they didn't seem to care as much, I guess. I was at the National Archives once, and they used to display the Declaration of Independence in direct sunlight. And now parts of it are faded away, and you can't bring any of that back. It's like the same situation here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no going back. And at least the National Archives now, as far as the Declaration of Independence, they store it in such well-kept conditions, and they try to do any restorative damage, or restore any damage that does happen when they can.
The thing that really angered me, other than the condition of the mount and the way it's being treated, is the fact that there are people just walking by, not even giving this dog a second look, and this dog is a hero. I mean, it's like going to Arlington National Cemetery and honoring the American soldiers in there. I mean, it's the same thing. They weren't honoring this hero. What this dog did was so amazing. I mean, I realized that he wasn't the only dog in the serum run, but what he did, was so amazing for a creature to do that we take for granted every day.
They just represent, you Balto as someone, represent all the dogs, not just what he did, but to get them to represent what every single dog did and human on that day did.
Yeah, and that's how it's even phrased on the statue. They just used him as a figurehead in order to represent all of the dogs.
Right. If you read the actual plaque, it says in memory of all the dogs in the serum.
And it just has Balto as the figurehead.
I have currently 62 signatures on my petition from people all over the world, not just here in the United States, but from England, the rest of Europe, Asia, Middle East.
That's quite a range. I like that.
And where can we go to sign this petition?
You can go to the petition via a link in the Balto Source forums. There is also a link in my profile on the Balto Source.
Make it available on the Sourcecast topic as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can get a few more signatures on that and hopefully get something done.
The thing that really thrills me is I was actually contacted by the mayor of Nome, Alaska herself.
Oh, right.
Oh, wow.
I was able to get on their website, on Nome's website, and get her email. She sent me one a few days later saying, how she, is encouraging me to help support, telling the story of Balto and to make sure that he is treated properly. She even shared my email with I believe it was the museum curator up in Nome.
Oh, wow. Wow. I don't know what else to say.